You're listening to the Flip Houses Like a Girl podcast, where we educate, empower, and celebrate everyday women who are facing their fears, juggling family and business, embracing their awesomeness, and wholeheartedly chasing their dream of flipping houses. Each episode delivers honest-to-goodness tools, tips, and strategies you can implement today to get closer to your first or next successful house flip. Here's your spiky-haired, breakfast taco-loving host, house flipping coach, Debbie DeBeery.
Hey, you guys, it's Debbie here, and I hope that whatever you're up to today, it's an easy one. So, in case you haven't seen in the Facebook group or read in your email inbox, we are hard at work planning the only women's real estate investing retreat where woo-woo and house flipping collide. All right, it's called Flip Your Heart Out. And it's going to be in September in beautiful Austin, Texas. And what I promise you is that it is not just another good old boys real estate investing event. All right, get yourself on the wait list, ladies. Go to flipyourheartout.com for all the details and to put your name on the wait list, because I promise you this bad boy is going to sell out quickly. And you know me, I keep things small and intimate. So this isn't 100+ people get to come. It is a smaller group of awesome women. All right. So flipyourheartout.com, get yourself on the wait list, and I promise it's going to be awesome. All right. I'm excited about today's episode. Well, I'm always excited about these episodes where I get to interview women who are part of the Facebook group that I interact with on the regular. Every single day I'm in there, and I love to get to connect with you guys even deeper on these interview episodes. So today's interview is with Lesli Nodurft out of Louisiana, and she's going to share part of her story. And I know that you guys are going to get some really great insight out of this and some inspiration to get into action. I've come to think of Lesli as the accidental house flipper, which is kind of crazy, right? Anyway, you've got to stay tuned to hear why. All right, here we go. Why don't we just start with you introducing yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, your background, where you are, that sort of thing.
Okay. I'm Lesli Nodurft. I have been married for about 18 years. I have two boys, 15 and 10. And we kind of just got thrown into the whole flipping and being landlords kind of thing.
That's interesting.
This past year, my husband was offered a job. Like, we live in Louisiana.
Okay.
And he's been wanting to get out of his industry. He is a civil structural designer.
Oh, wow.
So he works for the petrochemical industry.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. And so he's been looking for a way out for a while. And so he got offered a job up in Evansville, Indiana, I think, or Illinois, one of those places up there where it's cold. So we went up there, and we fell in love with the place, but the price just wasn't right. But we were even looking for houses, and we found a house that was actually a triplex. Like, we could live there and then rent out the two other spots. And my husband was like, this is easy money. I'm like, yeah, kind of. Not
in quotes.
really,
right.
but
That's funny.
yeah, I could see how it could be, So when we decided not to take that job and we came back home, he started looking.
Okay.
And
It gave him the bug.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did.
Huh.
Because he wants to retire early and he wants to start doing this full time. And so I'm behind him
Yeah.
100%. And I just work as a pharmacy technician just whenever they need me.
Oh, nice.
Now I take care of my mom and my kids.
Yeah.
So I like to say I have a lot of free time to do this, but I don't really. But, you know, I'm making it work.
Right. Right.
But
Totally.
adding it in. Yeah.
Okay. So he
So
got the bug to
he got the bug.
get into investing.
Yes.
How did you, okay, so was your first investment, was it a flip?
Well, it was we bought a house and we were going to rent it out,
Mm-hmm.
but it took forever. Like, we learned so much on this first house that we learned what not to do.
Uh-huh.
And we wound up just selling that house, and we didn't lose any money, thank goodness. We made about $5,000.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Guess you could kind of say it was a flip, but yeah, not really. But because we really wanted to rent it out, but
Okay.
it just never got rented, and we didn't want to sink the money into it that it really needed,
Sure.
because I
Okay.
think we would have been in the hole in the long run on that one.
Okay. Got it. So you bought it
So,
as a rental, and
right.
it wasn't, and it's, so you did some renovations to it first
We
before
did.
putting it up for
Yes.
rent. Okay. And
Yes.
then it wasn't selling. And so you guys were like, okay, we need to sell this. And I mean, I'm sorry, it wasn't renting. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Got it.
So after paying a mortgage on it for a couple months, we were like, you know what, let's just get out from under it, and we sold it. So
That's interesting. That's interesting because, you know,
yeah.
a lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. What if I can't sell it? And I'm like, well, there's
Right.
always the option to rent it. And so it's interesting
Right.
to hear the opposite. Like, you were trying to
Right.
rent it and you're like, no, let's just sell it. I'm glad
Right.
that worked.
Right.
It's always great
Yes.
to have an alternative strategy or two.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so we did that, and then my husband, he works so much, the same, like, I had to be his power of attorney for signing on actual flip house that we just closed on, and a duplex.
Oh, wow.
So the same day that both of them were closing, I had to be there signing all the papers. So he was not able to get away from his job. So we now have a duplex that it's doing really good. We gained 2 tenants and their families. So that's been interesting, because we had decided back before our first one how we were going to do everything. We were going to, you know, credit checks, you know, go by the list and everything. Yeah. They probably would have never wound up in our
Right.
place.
Right.
But so far it's worked out. So
Yeah. Sometimes you inherit tenants. So yeah,
yes.
that's a reality.
Yes.
I've owned one duplex, and I don't know that it's my cup of tea. The problem is that I inherited tenants. And
Right.
the 2 times that I've inherited tenants, it hasn't gone well. This
Right.
time it was, I kept getting phone calls in the middle of the night from the SWAT team. Well,
Oh.
we're busting down the door again. And I'm like, oh my
Oh.
gosh, I owned that. The problem, like, it was a great deal. I bought it owner finance, like 0 down.
Right.
Like, it was such a great deal. And it ended up being a
Right.
terrible deal. Like, I
Right.
got out of it. I think
Right.
I sold it within just a few months. I mean, it was years and
Wow.
years ago, but yeah, within a few months. So I get that sometimes it's not great to inherit tenants.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay. So on that first, okay. So I guess really this flip that you're doing right now is your first kind of true flip, like with the intention of going into it as a flip.
Well, the one that we did the same day as the duplex, that one we went in with the realtor as a partner, and that one only took 2 months, and we sold that.
Nice.
So we didn't do it solo. So, but we gained so much in knowledge from working with him.
Yeah.
And we actually, you know, we're like the general contractors, but we have found the most wonderful man on the face of the planet that is, you know, he can paint, he can do whatever. And he knows plumbers, he knows electricians, he knows, you name it. You know, he knows a cabinet guy. So it's like, I want to keep him forever. Like,
I get it. Yeah, I totally get that. Yep.
Yes. So that one's done. We did good. We made money. And now we're working on, I guess, our first solo flip.
Good for you guys.
So,
like, I love it. Like, y'all decided to do it, and you're already on your fourth property.
Yeah.
Within a year or so.
Property. Yeah. And my husband's like, you know, I want 6 more doors this year. And I'm like, oh my word. Killing me. But now I'm like, okay, I can do this, you know?
Yeah.
So I can start learning stuff.
Right. Well, let's see. How did you find that first flip? The first one you did that it was going to be a rental, but you ended up selling it. How did you find that property?
Okay. We found it on the MLS listing.
Okay. Again, another person saying you can find deals on the MLS. This is interesting.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Okay. So had it been listed for a while, or what was the story?
It had. Yeah. It had. It was very dated. It was actually a pre-foreclosure. Okay. So, I mean, you look at it and you're like, no way am I touching that. It was horrible. Because the owners were actually living, I forget where they were, out of the country. I forget where they were. I'd be lying if I told you, but they had moved. And so the banker had to be their power of attorney for signing. Okay. So, but I mean, you can find great deals on the MLS.
Yeah. So you guys just put in an offer and you were under contract.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. How did you finance that purchase?
That we did with a regular. Yeah.
Because it was intended to be a rental.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then, so did you have like cash in a bank account that you could use for the renovations and stuff, or did you pull out a line of credit, or how did you fund the renovations?
Well, on that one we had cash.
Okay.
So we were able to do that. Moving forward, we've done a HELOC.
Yep.
So we've been using HELOC until we build up everything. So,
well, I think HELOCs are great because otherwise it's just money that you're not using it, and it's money there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
And the interest is so low.
Yeah.
So
right.
When you pay it off. So.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So now you alluded to some contractor issues on that first one. You want to talk about that?
Oh, yes. It was horrible.
Oh no.
Like, one thing I will never forget is he had done something in one of the closets, and I'm like, you really need to fix this. People are going to live here, you know, they're going to be calling us. And he told me it's not the White House.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, I know it's not the White House, but it's a house that I own, and I'm paying you to do a job.
Oh my God.
Like, really?
Wow. Right. Like when
And
someone says
then,
something like that, it's like,
right.
wait, what? We are not on the same,
Yeah,
we're not on the same
no,
path here.
no. They did not take pride in anything. And
Yeah. Oh man.
I found out later when we were actually closing on the house for the sweet little people that bought it, one of their patchworks outside where they were supposed to replace some of the wood, they put duct tape up and painted over it.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
they didn't.
did.
Leslie, that didn't
They did.
happen.
It was duct tape.
Oh my God.
Duct tape.
Oh.
It was horrible.
Oh my gosh.
Horrible.
That's really funny. I mean, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's
It
really
was like
funny.
anything and everything they could possibly do wrong, they did.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's
And were these
definitely not the White House.
right? Were- Clearly. Were these was this supposed to be like a GC that you hired, or was it more like a handyman kind of person?
Well, he said he had his contractor's license.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
yeah. So, and this was when I was so busy and I wasn't really fully into the whole idea of doing this yet. And I was still, whatever my husband said. And I had told my husband, his name's Ryan, I was like, did you get a contract? He's like, I told him I wanted to do one. I said, did you get a contract?
Oh
No,
gosh.
never got a contract with him. So always, always, always get a contract.
Yes. Amen, sister. Wow.
So even the little guy that we love,
Yeah.
and I think he would never ever do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Just to cover him and protect him,
Right.
we are going to do a contract.
Look, a
we
great
have to do that.
Absolutely. And that's that. I love that you said that, because here's the thing. A great contract to use with your contractor protects both of you. And
Yes.
it gives both of you an out if it's not working.
Yes.
Like it really
Right.
should protect both parties. It's not it's not a one-way street. Yeah. So I'm glad you said that. That's important.
Right. Exactly.
So aside from finding the painted duct tape later on, were there any surprises like to the budget, or maybe some surprises behind the wall that came up, or any?
Yes.
Okay.
With that one, the AC unit was bad, so we did have to replace part of that, not the entire unit. And that was one of the factors on wanting to go ahead and get out from underneath it, because how they were changing everything with the air conditioning units, with the Freon. They're changing the Freon this year.
Right.
And that would be a whole new unit because it was an older system. So that's, $6,000 that we didn't want to have to put into the house.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pretty soon it was going to need another roof, and it had the panel boxes were horrible, and the real estate agent that actually helped the people buy the house, she actually had it replaced for them because they were a young couple and they weren't going to be able to afford that on their own. So she paid out of pocket to have the panel boxes fixed.
Wow.
So we didn't have to do it, and I know it was awesome.
Yeah.
But but that was another huge expense. So it was just, that's why I had been sitting there for a while.
Yeah. Well,
you learned a lot.
I hear that. The learning never ends. Honestly, it's one of the reasons why I love flipping houses. Like there's just always something to learn. Always.
Right.
And what did you guys end up putting into it for all the renovation and repairs and stuff?
we didn't put more than 10,000 in
Okay.
it. So, before we were just like, okay,
Yeah.
we're not going to keep doing this. And just the experience we had with the person we had found, and we didn't want to spend more than that.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So then
Right.
you decided, okay, we're putting it on the market, and
Mm-hmm.
you guys made a profit, which that's great. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, you still made a profit, and
Right.
you're out from under it, and you could move on.
Right.
Okay. Awesome.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So on the flip, well, let me ask this. So the 3 other properties, have those all
Mm-hmm.
been from the MLS?
The one that we're actually working on now, we found it off the auction site.
Okay.
So, everything else has been off the MLS except for this one that we're working on now.
Was it auction.com or?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So
And
it was an auction,
right.
and
And my husband had actually been tracking it for like 8 months.
oh, wow.
So basically, whenever he decided to start doing it past summer, he started looking at this one, and it took forever with the auction. But it was listed at 70, but we wound up getting it for 47.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did you go about, since you couldn't see the inside, how did you go about estimating the repairs?
Well, there were old pictures
Okay.
off the MLS.
Oh,
So we
from
kinda
like
looked
right
at that.
before.
Right before it went to auction.
Got it.
So, yeah, we went with that. And we kind of knew just by the state of the house, it was going to need a lot of repairs.
Uh-huh.
But so far, there hasn't been a whole lot of surprises.
Nice.
But it's
Yeah, that
going
helps.
good.
That really
Yeah.
helps being able to see those photos. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, it feels very scary. Like, I don't know at
Right.
all what I'm getting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
I mean, I like surprises, but not those kinds
Right.
of surprises.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so you got it off of auction.com,
Uh-huh.
and 47,000 was the purchase price.
Mhm.
What's your
Right.
renovation budget you're working with?
80,000.
80,000?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one. It does need a lot. Hey, I
Yeah.
like the ones that need
Yeah.
a lot. There are fewer surprises. If I know I'm replacing everything, there
Right.
are
Right.
fewer expensive surprises that can bite me in the butt.
Right. Right.
And
So,
then what will the house be worth?
the ARV that we're thinking is going to be 190.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing, because usually you don't see that, like, for a house go for that little, if it has that much
Right.
room. Like, that's amazing.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully, and like my husband's the numbers man, so he can do this in his sleep, I think. And he's got an app for everything. He's like, you need to get on this, you need to get on that. And I'm like, So I'm like, okay, well, can I just pick out the pretty things?
Is that your favorite part? Is that your favorite part of the flip?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but I'm trying to learn everything. I just
Yeah.
want to, I want to be in there, and I want to start doing.
So the person who's running, or maybe doing the majority of the work, is the gentleman you mentioned earlier that you have a lot of trust in. Is that right?
Right. Yes.
And how did you find him?
Our partner that we used for the flip before, he had him. He had used him before. So we found him. So we've been I told him I'm gonna keep him forever.
You're
Use him
stuck.
for everything.
You're stuck
Yep,
with us,
he's
dude.
stuck with me.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, and then the financing for this, did you guys use a traditional loan again?
No, we just used the HELOC.
Got it. Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's funding the purchase and the renovations?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Great. Man, that
Yeah.
makes it so much easier too. Like it's
It
just
does.
very simple and streamlined.
Yes. Makes it so much easier.
So this was originally your husband's idea, this whole real estate
Right.
investing. Did you
Right.
ever think about it? Or did you ever have a little like you like
Not
decorating
really.
houses? It just wasn't on your radar at all.
Well, one of my dearest and best friends is Rachel Cannon, and she's an interior designer. And my husband actually, we built our house, so he drew up our house plans. So Rachel helped me with all the interior stuff and picking out the light fixtures and all my granite and all the pretty stuff, all the fun stuff. So I love doing that. I love picking out the doors and the windows and that kind of stuff. So, and I've watched her business grow, and I've watched everything that she's done. So, and I don't know. I love doing that, and I love building my house. Now, I learned a lot from that. I don't know if I would ever build another house from ground up. Maybe in the future, I don't know. But
and yet you didn't think you'd be flipping houses either.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be doing this. But so I don't know.
I meant to ask when we were talking about the auction property. So did you guys going into it, did you like research the liens on it? Did you have title pull a search, or what did you guys do to make sure you weren't getting any hefty liens or surprises in that regard?
Well, honestly, that's all my husband's department, so
Gotcha.
I don't know on that part. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So I just started saying, okay, I want that wall gone, and that has to be painted. And
you like the design. Yeah.
Yes, I like the design. Yeah.
Where do you find a lot of inspiration? Where do you get a lot of inspiration from? Are you a Pinterest person?
Yes, I love Pinterest.
I'm
on it all the time. And I really love our Facebook site.
It's great, right?
What everybody, I love seeing what everybody does.
Yeah, I know. I do too.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see.
Yeah.
I love it. So many talented people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you have, when you guys first got into investing, did you have any fears around it? Or were you just like, we're doing this. It's fine.
Yeah, I thought like, okay, especially when he mentioned, oh, we're getting a HELOC. I'm like, okay, am I going to lose my house?
Right.
Am I going to lose my clothes?
Valid concern.
Yeah. So, yeah, all those normal fears, I guess. So, but now it's exciting, I guess, because we've had good luck with everything, even the horrible first time, first flip, if you want to even call it that. I mean, we didn't lose money.
Right.
So, and that's the first thing my husband said, you got to lose money to make money. Yeah. So don't be surprised if we lose money on one. I'm like, okay, well, that terrifies me, but
Yeah.
I trust him completely. So
it sure does help having a supportive spouse. For sure.
Yeah.
And him being the one that's like, yeah, we're doing this, like even better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Is there any advice that you would give to women out there who are thinking about doing this whole house flipping thing?
don't be afraid to
Yeah.
start and to get into it, because there are so many resources
Yeah.
out there for us
Yeah.
that, I mean, there's really nothing stopping you
Yeah.
from doing any of this.
Yeah.
So don't be intimidated
Yeah.
by, oh, I can't do this. It's all men that do this.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do this.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about everything that you're doing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I'm excited. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
carving my space, and in a male dominated world, male
Right,
dominated
right,
industry for sure.
right,
So as long as I
right.
keep doing things my way and what feels good to
Mhm.
me, what feels right to me, that's all I can do. So
Exactly.
yeah, life is way too short to do it any other way, and I really value my
Exactly.
sleep at night, so
Yes.
I'm gonna do things that feel good.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I appreciate you so much for
Yes.
being in the group, and you've been in there a while, and I appreciate you interacting, and thank you for taking the time to share part of your story with us, because I know it will
Yeah.
inspire others.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm
Thanks for
really
having
excited.
me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for you guys. I want you to share some before and after photos of this one that you're working on
Okay.
now, since it's
Yes.
your true first one. Um,
Yes. Yes.
and keep us posted, and I'll probably I'll probably bug you and be like, "Hey, you want to be on the show again?"
And-
And then we
Yeah.
can talk about it again. And because we
Yeah. When
all
I have
love
more
before and
knowledge.
after. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you
Okay.
so much,
Great.
Leslie.
Yes. Oh, you are welcome. Thanks for having me.
You bet. And I'll see you in the group.
Okay.
Awesome.
All
Take
right.
care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it. The accidental investor who now is just in love with flipping houses. So great story. Thank you again so much, Leslie, for sharing it with us. All right, you guys. So here's the thing. If you aren't already involved in our Facebook group, you totally should be. It's an awesome group of awesome women. It's such a great resource. All right. Women Flipping Houses, check it out on Facebook. And until next time, go out there, flip houses like a girl, leave people and places better than you find them, and make it a